Afternoon, everybody. We have little doodles in here. Just a second. Sing a little bald patch. Right, okay, everybody. I've been sitting at the back and I've been listening to what's been going on. I've been thinking, right, you know what, I'm ready to start all over again. If I was starting this business again, anyone could have just signed me into this business. I was ready to sign at the back. What I'd like you to do, though, just to get started today, please, look, please do us a favour. Did anybody get out of bed this morning? Absolutely. Anybody get up at sort of 8, 9 o'clock or anything like that? It's been a bit of a long day, hasn't it? You know, guys, just stand up for a second, please. All I want you to do is just stand up. I want you to hold your hands like this. Come on, each and every one of you. And I want you to clap like there's no tomorrow. Come on, give it back. Come on! That's it. Absolutely fantastic. There's actually a method in me madness. 2 reasons. 1, if you didn't clap when I finish, I've had me clap. Okay? Number 2, it actually stimulates the blood flow around your body, okay? And it sends more oxygen up to your brain. And what it means is that you'll be more likely, okay, to take notes and not miss the information. Because what I'm going to share with you right now is the stuff that's going to change your life. Okay, now, do you know what, guys? 7 3/4 years ago, I was in a meeting just like this, and we were sat in that audience as a rookie. Okay, we just joined, and we were sat there as a complete rookie. Okay, and I sat and watched the speakers come to the front, seeing the recognition, seeing what people were earning, seeing how people's lifestyles were changing. And I'm thinking to myself, flippin' heck, this is absolutely fantastic. And we wanted to be one of the people at the front of the room. Now, the only reason why we ended up being one of the people at the front of the room is because, in the words of Bill Cullen, we decided to do so. We just decided. That's all we did. We just decided to be at the front of the room. You see, the biggest thing is that people never ever make the decision to ever really become successful. They just don't make the decision. Think about it. I haven't quite made the decision for me to be a 29, 30-inch waist with a six-pack, okay, with rippling biceps and pecs. Let me tell you, I've been on, off with that plan for over flipping 10 years. So the plan that I'm working for that particular desire in my life isn't strong enough. It's not organized enough. Otherwise, I would have had them physical attributes. Now, the question has to be asked, how many of you in the room haven't yet made the decision, I'm talking the decision, that enough, I'm feeling myself slipping into the Irish accent there, that enough is enough, okay? You just feel it. I wonder how many of you have actually made that decision, you know, because I believe wholeheartedly, and I think Clean Easy people are absolutely fantastic. You know, we're a special breed of person, we know a secret, you know, compared to what everyone else knows. We know a secret, but sometimes I see the Clean Easy people in the rooms, a little bit tired, a little bit asleep, they haven't made the decision, and they're not ready to step up and step out and change their lives. Because each and every one of you can do that. Now what I'd like to talk to you about, okay, is your journey to Dreamsville. Now look, Dreamsville can be absolutely anything it wants to be, anything you need it to be. It could be to get out of your full-time job. It could be to get your dream home. It could be to get up the gold distributor and beyond. It could be to get on the fantastic Caribbean cruise. It can be whatever you want. So we're calling what is the most dominant desire within yourselves. That's your Dreamsville. Now the first thing is, and I want a show of hands and I want a knee-jerk reaction, your most dominant desire, okay, that you would like to get from Clean Easy, your Dreamsville. I want a very quick show of hands. If you know what your Dreamsville is, will you please put your hand up? Okay, fantastic. I also see a lot of people in the room who don't know what their Dreamsville is. You've got to get in touch with that. Because you see, if you're going to make a few sacrifices, if you're going to put up the best, if you're going to have some frustrations, if you want to go out there and you've been encouraged to go out there and work like your life depended on it, you've got to know what it is that you're fighting for. So you need to know what your Dreamsville is. So write that down. What is your Dreamsville? Okay? Now, there's a few dangers here. There's a danger, though. Okay, there's a danger. And the danger is this. That when you get involved in Clean Easy, okay, that when you get involved in Clean Easy, things aren't always what they seem. Okay? What do I mean by that? Well, you really do have to beware. Because when you first get involved in Clean Easy as a rookie, you're pretty much a sponge. You don't quite know what to expect. You don't know what's right. You don't know what's wrong. And you really, really do run the risk of allowing something to prevent you from moving forward. Okay, one person in the front of the room. This fine lady here. Okay, I want you to do me a favour. Okay, look on there and tell me the name of the card that you want. 6 of hearts. Right, everyone in the room, for a second, please, united. I want you to focus on the 6 of hearts. All think in your mind, 6 of hearts, 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 okay? Think about it hard, all of you. 6 of hearts, 6 of hearts, 6 of hearts. I'm going to pick your card out of that pack. Watch. Where's it gone? That's impressive. It's gone. Okay, back. Pick one more. You, sir. 7 of diamonds. Come on, everybody. 7 of diamonds, 7 of diamonds, 7 of diamonds, 7 of diamonds. Where's it gone? Okay, amazing. Right, moving on. Guys, things aren't always as they seem. Just a piece of paper. That little thing there. Agreement form. All right, you want to go ahead? Right, great. Just sign there. Bit of paper. No big deal. Okay? When you're out there, jeans, T-shirt, not a shirt and tie, not nice trousers, nice shirt, out there, jeans, T-shirts, pittling down with rain, some of our four-legged friends, some disappointing pickups, okay, the catalogue, flipping heck, catalogues, how's that going to change your life, for God's sake, come on. How on earth is catalogues going to change your life? Pittling down the rain, meet some Victor Meldrews, bump into some other distributors, just started, you've been told how you can change your life. Don't feel like it. That is the warning. It doesn't look and feel like it's going to change your life, okay? It doesn't. It doesn't feel like it, okay? And we can all become foul of that. It's absolutely essential, okay? Something else as well, okay? Now, for those people who've already seen this, please don't spoil it. For everyone else, guys, look at that. 3 little frogs sitting on a log. If one decides to jump off, how many are left? For those who don't know the answer. Okay, you'd think if one's going to decide to jump off, how many is going to be left? You would think 1. But of course the answer is 3. They're all still there. And the reason is because, just because one of the frogs decides to jump off, doesn't mean that he actually does. Okay? And it's a very, very important factor, this, because there's a big difference between someone deciding to do clean easy and someone actually doing it. You see, we just made that decision. Unlike the frog, we actually physically jumped off. We made the decision and we actually jumped off. Okay? And then we kept on jumping. And then we kept on jumping. And we kept on jumping. Guys, there's no magic to Clean Easy. It's a magical business. I mean, what else can change your life like Clean Easy can? I mean, think about it. Most people give the best of their youth. Okay? The best of every day when the skies are blue, the sun is shining, the birds are singing. And they give the best of their youth for probably not much more than £300 a week. And they give the best of themselves for 20, 30, 40 years for a boss, for the promise of 300 poxy pounds a week. You've just traded yourself for a pittance. You've absolutely traded yourself for a pittance. And it doesn't have to be that way. The plan we've all been sold from leaving school, okay, is get an education, get a good job, go out there, get married, get a mortgage, okay? That was the plan of the Victorians. The market is changing. Just like embracing some of the new technologies in Clean Easy are changing. PowerPoint, that was years ago. We wouldn't even have thought of PowerPoint. You have to move with the times. Now, guys, when we joined, desperate. No two ways about it. Okay? That was just one of the many debt letters. We were getting kicked out of our council house. Okay? I was unemployed. Made redundant again. Okay? And this was the reality. Okay? We were dreading the postman. He was only ever bringing brown envelopes. That was the way that it was. It was brown envelopes. Let me tell you, they've evolved. And now they're flipping white envelopes now. All right? Then now people used to not open the brown envelopes. Dear Peter. White bill. Okay. We were frightened to pick up the telephone. Well, who else would be ringing us? The mother-in-law delivered down the street. We had a secret ring for my mum and dad. They'd ring twice, put the phone down, ring back again. So if it rang and it didn't go off, it was only somebody chasing us. Okay. We bought all our food from cheap shops. We couldn't afford the luxuries. It was literally, it was a warehouse in Gateshead. Okay, right in the precinct. We used to go in there and we used to get like a little scoop and we used to get the cornflakes and put them in a little plastic bag because, you didn't have to pay for the packaging. And there was almost like a little bit of like, we used to look over at some of the other people that were there as well. It was like, are you all right? We're skinned now. And it was like that, okay? And then buying clothes from jumble sales and going out there, and the worst for us was buying the kids Christmas presents from a car boot sale one year. Hey, I tell you what, I did not feel sorry for myself. I did. I was like, thinking, God, your life's terrible. You've got to put up with a lot, son, haven't you? Oh, no. I used to have them conversations with myself. You know, I really did. You know, it says there was no laughter, there was no pride, there was just fear and sadness. That's all there was. I can look back now and laugh about it, but that was the way our life was, and we really couldn't continue. And that was the day that we decided. We decided. And you know what? Why is it that we all leave making a major decision until we get to a critical point in our life? I wonder what we could do if we made decisions well before we left everything to the last minute. More about that in a moment, okay? So we thought, this cannot continue. So what we did is, when we signed that bit of paper, honestly, we thought, right, okay, we are going for this. And the V12 was born. And our front wheels never touched the floor. They were spinning like hell. And we just thought, right, what do we need to do? None of this selective stuff, oh, well, I'll do this, but not the t'other. We said to our sponsor, what do we need to do to make progress? Seriously. Because we cannot afford to be making these mistakes. We can't afford to waste 6 months, do it our own way, and then suddenly find that it wasn't the right way. Now, we'll do it your way now. That would have meant it would have took a year instead of 6 months. And we couldn't afford to hang around. So it was a case of, how fast can this baby go? It was like that. How fast can this baby go? And I'll tell you, it says there, the only place that success comes before work is in the dictionary. You've got to put the work in. And in our first year, we looked at that brick wall. That brick wall was mostly our personal baggage that we brought into Clean Easy with us. We all have it. Anyone got any personal baggage? Absolutely. Can get flipping heavy. Phew, can it not? Because that there was all that list of things that didn't go away. Just because we signed on the dotted line with Clean Easy, that did not go away. That was still there. So we decided that brick by brick, we were going to take that wall down. Take it down, take it out, whatever it takes, complete focus. That's what we were going to do. And when we sat at that, we joined in the March the 16th, 2000, and we sat in the June conference that Clean Easy put on, okay, and we saw people going across that stage, you know, as gold distributors and above, you know, being awarded with the conferences, you know, we saw people making big money, we saw the lifestyle, the houses, and we were sat there thinking, God, flipping heck, we'll get my council sweepers, we've got all this going on in our life, but we could see what was on the other side of that personal brick wall that we had set for ourselves, okay, that we'd found ourselves in. Because what I didn't realize is all the things that we had going wrong in our life, all that personal baggage, by and large, we brought most of that into our life. Because of the plan that we were working, we brought it with us. We didn't know that at the time. We thought that was the way that it was. Okay, well, that's the way that it is. We didn't realize. But guys, it says that, have you ever felt like this? Like you can see some of the other people who have got success in Clean Easy. You can see, you really can. You're sort of sitting there and you're clapping for them thinking, well, they're doing great. And you're thinking, oh, I wish it was us. We do think like that, okay? And we thought like that every single day, but we used that to channel. We used that not just to be green with envy in terms of like, and doing out. We used that to motivate us. And it says that he who dares wins. We've all heard that expression before. You cannot win by your head if you don't stick your nose out, or you can't win by your nose if you don't stick your neck out. It's the same sort of thing. You've got to stretch yourself. You've got to step outside of the norm. But like everything in this business, there's nothing terribly difficult. Okay? They're just little things. But because there's so little, the things that you have to do, they almost seem insignificant. Like that first slide about the warning, beware, danger. Don't feel like a multi-million-pound PLC. There must be something really big that you'd have to really be able to do to become a success. And you look for it and it's not there. It's lots of little things that the compound effect takes you from where you are to where you want to be. Okay? And we thought like that every single day. Now, who's familiar with that expression, he who dares wins? Anyone got any ideas? Absolutely. Anyone love that? Oh, anyone love that program? One of my most favourite ones. And I tell you why I love it. Because for years and years I've followed their story. Okay? And I love the way that they never, ever, ever gave up on their dreams. Because this time next year, we are going to be millionaires. Fantastic. Wasn't it absolutely fantastic? And you know, and that there just does it. There you are. That's the edition that I loved. Why did I love that edition? Look what it says on the bottom. If they could only see us now. Do you know what? I had tears rolling down my cheek when they won the millions of that Mariner watch. I was killing myself laughing at first, and the tears were laughter, and then it turned to tears of joy. Go on, you tell. I knew you'd do it. I knew you'd do it. And I did. I just knew that he would do it. You know? And isn't it fantastic? Well, look, they had challenges. I mean, they lived in Nelson Mandela House, for God's sake. They had their challenges. Look at their car that they were driving around in. Flippin' heck. Okay? Guys, you've got to write it down today. If they could see us now. Because all the people who've laughed at you, all the people who've negged you out, all the people that disbelieve you and run you down what you're doing, that flipping clean easy thing for you want to go and get yourself a proper job, you're wasting your time. We've had it all. There's nothing that you will go through that we haven't already gone through. And that's really, really important for each and every one of you to understand. Okay? So if they could see us now, because people now who look at us, who laughed at us in the early days, that's exactly how I feel now. I bet you'd wished you'd flipping stuck with it there. So flipping really, pity you didn't. We did. Yeah! Brilliant. Okay, so guys, don't let anyone or anything steal away your dreams. That's dead important. That is the most powerful thing I want to say to you today. And then I'm going to go and show you something now that I think is absolutely a brilliant analogy of what is going to happen in each and every one of your businesses. Okay? So nobody steal anything away. Look, the only way you're going to have real financial freedom, the only way that you're going to go out there and build a network and go on this fantastic Caribbean cruise and more, okay, is to go out there and share this opportunity with some people. And then share it with some more. And then some more. And then some more. So the best thing about this business is people. But you know what, guys? Let me tell you something else. The worst thing about this business is people. Now, I mean that in the nicest possible way, okay? But I'm going to share with you. Now, this here, okay, is a bus. It's got an upstairs and it's got a downstairs. And as you'll see, Claire and I are the driver of our bus. Just like you guys have got to be the driver of your bus. Now, it's the Lifestyle Express. All aboard Lifestyle. And it's going to Dreamsville. Your Dreamsville. But it is going via Frustration Road. If you want to get to Dreamsville, you've got to go via Frustration Road. Now then, some people will want to get on and go upstairs. The people who go upstairs in this example signify the people who see it, who want it, who believe it, who come in and think, I want to build this thing. And they put their actions where their mouth is. In other words, not just talking the talk, they are walking the walk. Now, I've got a few people who are going upstairs there, but let me share with you this, okay? The people didn't all go upstairs, okay? So there's someone else that goes upstairs. There's someone else that goes upstairs. Someone else that goes upstairs. Someone else that goes downstairs and gets straight back off. And then someone gets on, and then he shares it with someone who goes upstairs, and he gets off, and he gets on, and he gets off. Okay, guys? And that is the way the business is. Now, laugh or cry. Well, let me tell you. When you first start building this clean, easy business, you are the driver, and your bus is you taking your team forward. And guys, I tell you what, some people got on our bus, and I couldn't believe it. They were like, and you think, what? They've joined and they're doing nout. Absolutely nout. Okay? Anyone got anyone like that in their team? Absolutely. Okay? Well, it's okay. Because we have that also. And we had it from day one. Some people got on the flipping bus and got straight back off. They thought, oh, wrong bus, straight back off. Thought it was better way. It's obviously clean, easy, pay for your catalogues. Oh, what have I done? Some people got on and stayed a couple of stops and got off. They get on and they put the catalogues out and think, yes, champion. Come on. We're on the move. Yes! Dreamsville's getting closer. And all of a sudden they hit the bonus level and they just get off the bus. And you think, what? Even people with the bonus levels can quit. It's madness. And some got on and moaned all the way. And if you talk to Bob Park, he calls them Matt. Moaned all the time. The day they just, oh, the weather, oh, this and oh, that. And you're sitting there going, oh, never. And you think, God. And they're moaning and flipping, groaning. And guys, sometimes though, the queue, there was a flipping queue, not to get on, to get off. And I tell you what, when you're the driver, you sometimes think, I tell you what, I think I might just flipping either turn around and gone back, or to hell with this, I'm just going to leave it here on the bloody A1 and give it the key and run off. And you will feel like that. I promise you, you will, okay? As I say, sometimes after I thought I had like, need more seats downstairs, how many upstairs, please? And I look around and I was like, there's nobody. And there's me driving the bus. There's our sponsor, Gary Watson, and keep driving that bus, and I'm going, it's all right for ye. I'm flipping sick. I'm not sure where I'm going. Just keep going. Just keep going. And we can really typify all the sorts of people that get on the bus, okay? You've got your Mr. and Mrs. Know-it-all. Oh, they kind of tell them now, well, this is what we recommend you do. I've done Avon, man. Done better way. You don't have to tell me, I'll make you rich. You just watch me go. Whew, come on. And then you get your people, you ring them up, how's it going? Oh, fantastic. Tell you what, £500 worth of orders. And I got £500 last week and all. They didn't realise that there's a flipping GSA there and we'll look doing and it's on stop and zero. And then your Amagoners. You ring them up and like, how's it going, John? Oh, I tell you what, hey, I'm going to get going like Haman not. Whew, watch me go, I tell you what. So I tell you, I'll ring you back. Oh, you're going out. I'll ring you back Wednesday, see how it went. Ring you back, how's it going? Oh, I tell you wouldn't believe it. But don't worry. I'm going to get going next week. And I tell you what, I'm doing 3 times as much. Oh, you watch me go. You watch me go. Oh, yes. I come to the meeting. Oh, I'm going to be there. John, is everything all right? Because you didn't do... Oh, something cropped up. Going to be there. Be there next one. Oh, I'm going to be there. Trust us. Then you get your steady eddies. Look, they do come in and they just want to make a few £100 a month and they're an absolute joy. To be able to help people who have got a sincere, genuine income requirement and just to help them, and see them get that certificate of income, the bonus in the bank, and then they tell you things like they'll be able to buy the first washing machine and this, that, and the other. It warms your heart, and that's what this business is all about. Helping people to get out of what they want. And they fall into the category of not wanting to break any records, just want as steady as it goes, which is brilliant. Then you get your magicians. They join, and they put an order in, and then they're gone. You try to ring them, they answer. You text them, bounces back. Email them, bounces back. You pop around the house, curtains closed. You think, where are they going? They've just disappeared. And they were going upstairs on this bus. Oh, I tell you what, on our network marketing, I'll tell you what, I'll be principal by next week. They just disappear, and then all of a sudden, you've written them off, and then all of a sudden, a flipping order comes in for 36 quid about 12 months later. Woo! In the back. You think, whoa, that's amazing. Then you're going to get your serious people who are going to come in, who want to make it work, and they want to build a team as well, okay? They're not in a hurry, they're just taking it easy, okay? And that's great. And then, of course, you get your aspiring gold distributor. Now, the thing is, guys, okay, it's just the way it is. But could you imagine if you were just getting into team building for the very, very first time, okay, and you've got your know-it-all, your 2 liars, your amagunner, your flipping magician straight away? You could be forgiven for thinking, you're flipping joking, and they're trying to tell me I'm going to then make a lot of money, and clean easy's great, and it can change your life. You're thinking, get out of it, no chance. Not a hope in hell. But the thing is, guys, the good people are out there if you keep on keeping on, and that's all that we have done, okay? Now, don't let those people steal your dreams away. I remember that we were at 21%, we were earning £900 a month, and we had 4 of those people decide to get off the bus in 1 week. Okay? And some of them were actually doing retail, and circumstances had changed, and the volume disappeared, and my head went down. I was so depressed, and Gary Watson rang me up, and I was like, hey, flipping it, Gary, it's never going to flip and build. I'm putting this into it, I'm putting that into it, I'm giving it my absolute best. It's not flipping work. And look at me team, for God's sake, man. You talk about SAS, they're more like flipping Dad's army. And it was like that. And you know, my head went down. And our income dropped down to £500 from being up to 900. And I thought, I've got to go and take a job. And I was ready to go back out there and take a full-time job. And I was at a real pivotal point in our Clean Easy business. It could have went that way, or it could have, well, we knew it could have possibly went that way. But I thought it's more likely to go that way. And I remember the words of Gary Watson, and he said this to me, and they'll stay with me for the rest of my life. How well did you know those people? Not very well. Okay, so those people are lazy, they've got no ambition, they've got no drive, you know, they're not interested in staying with this business. And are you going to allow them to steal away your dreams of a better tomorrow? And I just thought, no, I don't know them very well. And if I now go off on a tangent and gone that way instead of keep doing what I have been doing, you're absolutely right. It's going to take me away from this magical, clean, easy opportunity, although it didn't feel quite magical, like I said at the beginning. Beware, danger, don't feel like it. Okay, guys? And I remember that day, sitting up, the chest came out, the chin went up, I thought, right. And I gripped my teeth with a steely determination, and I thought, no way am I going to allow them to influence my future for me and my family. Because remember, we'd already drawn the line in the sand. There was no laughter, buying stuff from car boot sales, driving an F-Reg Escort, getting kicked out the council house. Quit Clean Easy to go back to what? So make sure if you ever find yourself in one of those critical moments that you just think what you're walking away from and what you're going back to. Okay? It's important, okay, guys? Now, the thing is, now, going back on lightheartedly, okay, getting back to our Clean Easy Bus Lifestyle Express on its way to Dreamsville, okay, guys, what you've got to do, even if you find that bus and you look over your shoulder and they're queuing to get off, okay, guys, what you've got to do, you've got to know that there are millions of people waiting at bus stops all over the country, Ireland, Holland, Germany. They're all waiting at bus stops, okay? People absolutely everywhere. Everywhere. North, east, south, west. They're absolutely everywhere. So if you feel at any time that your bus ain't got any people on, get yourself run some bus stops, okay? Just keep on going around, metaphorically speaking, okay? Don't want you all getting picked up for loitering run bus stops at our funny hours of the morning. Alright? It's important. Just keep getting yourself around those bus stops, okay? Now, here's something that I really found quite sort of profound. You see, that bus is going to go, well, the Clean Easy bus is going to go to the Clean Easy Dreamsville anyway. You see, if Peter and Claire Rea suddenly disappeared off the face of the earth, and we did a Reginald Perrin, which just disappeared, okay, do you think Clean Easy would go on to be successful anyway? Aye, it would. Our contribution is great, but it doesn't absolutely essentially need us because it will happen anyway. So you've got to understand, okay, that it's going to go there. You just make sure that you are on your bus and you keep driving it, okay? Now this is quite powerful for a lot of people. When we first went gold distributor, you can get the gold with like 10 active people. We had 27 people in our team to get the gold. Why? Didn't know what I was doing. Didn't have a flipping clue. Thought when people joined and they said they were going to do this, I thought, well, that's what they were going to do. Surprise to me when they were packing in. It was like, why? Couldn't understand it. You know, when people said they were going to do something and they didn't put their catalogues out, I thought that was strange. I didn't know how to ring them up and say, well, how's things going? I was rubbish. I was the worst sponsor. You would have hated to be in our team in the early days. I tell you, I was absolutely diarrhea. Sorry. Right. So there's 27 people on our bus at any one time, right? And there's only 2 of them stayed on. Now, obviously, they didn't all get off at the same time, thank God, but sometimes it feels like that. But, and one of them's a lady called Sue Brown, lives down in Stoke, and she's a steady Eddie, and she just tootles away. And the other guy was a guy called Paul Meagle. Now, he didn't want to go upstairs for quite a while. In fact, he was quite happy sitting downstairs. In fact, he chained himself to downstairs. When I said, you could go upstairs, he says, I'm staying downstairs. Okay? But, guys, 27 people, okay? So there was only 2 people left, plus us of that original 27. That's nothing to get concerned about. In the early days, I might have thought that, until I'd seen this training, so to speak, and I understood about the people and the magicians and the this and the that. Now I understand that, like, it's an important part And it says there, and now I understand, see, because it's like, you know, when in the real world, when you talk about like shift workers, and some people work like 6 till 10, and then some people work like 10 till 2, that sort of thing. Well, the same work gets done in the factory, doesn't it? But it's just like a different personnel that does it. And but it keeps going, doesn't it? Keeps changing. Well, that's what it can be like in the early days sometimes when you're building your clean, easy business, okay? So the work still gets done. Now, okay, seek and ye shall find. We've heard that before. Okay, now I'm not a big biblical person, but I have, and I do remember those words. Seek and ye shall find. If you didn't seek, you'll definitely not find. That's for sure. All right? And do you know what, guys? Claire and I had been in the business for 4.5 years. Gary Nest had been running their business, our sponsors, for 4.5 years before Claire and I even joined the team. Now, obviously, we represent an excellent part of Gary Nestor's business now, but Gary Nestor didn't have the benefit or the pain, whatever you want to call it. I haven't been the easiest as a distributor. But, you know, for 4.5 years. I wonder if he thought, I wonder if that flipping Peter is going to come into this business. How I told about it when I'd only been doing it for 2 weeks. I tell him what to do with it. Nay, flipping way. Putting catalogues in, you must be on drugs. Nay way. Oh no, he says, there's a real exciting side of it. I says, I didn't flipping care. You're not getting me into that, you flipping loser. You know, honestly, I knew Gary, like, so I had that type of conversation with him. But I tell you what, when everything went pear-shaped in my life and circumstances changed and I had some information packs of some other people who I daren't tell them who it was, because they'd be awfully disappointed, knew. But it was Gary Watson I went back to, because he told me about it. The timing wasn't right. No, not now doesn't mean no, not never. Write that down. No, not now doesn't mean no, not never. Now, I just want to tell you, even though our business has grown anyway, look at that. 6 months in, Paul Meikle came along, but he just wanted to sit downstairs. Remember, he chained himself to the seats. All right? 6 months of us keep looking. It was a year in before Ram and Sylvia Lang came into our business, 1 full year into the business. And guess what? We didn't even find them. I got my best mate involved, who went out there, and he was born idle. He didn't do anything. He wouldn't put his catalogues out. And the one time he went to put them out, he asked me if I'd go and help him. Me, like a sucker, I went and he said, oh, my car's broke down. So I went and helped him. And I said, oh, you need to get into the recruitment side. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. And anyway, he says, I put some cards out. I says, thank God for that. About time and all. You know, that's where the big excitement side is. He says, how many did you put out? He says, 10. 10. I ever drop more? You know when you're doing cards in the car park and then you keep putting them on and you're going around in a circle? And you end up going around like that, don't you? You just know where you're coming and going. You have to, oh, I'll have to stop a bit. I'll have to go that way instead of that way. Just to get your brain balanced again. Well, it was, you know, I should say, you've got to drop more than that, man. When I'm in a flipping hurry, you put 10 out. And then he rang and says, oh, I've got this bloke who's responded. I says, oh, yeah. I says, just send it. It was on the voicemail. Like, oh, he says, I can't work that thing. He even sent a message up to Rob Foster. He says, I think you're called Bob. Because, you know, I thought he said, Bob. He says, he's your call, Bob. He says, take me out the loop, man. He said, I didn't want your messages. I need it free for all me flipping. I thought, you can't say that, man. So anyway, he rang us up and says, I've got this bloke who's responded to a card, man. He says, he's called Ramon. Oh, I says, can he speak English? You know, because it was an unusual name. You know, and he says, I think he can. Anyway, but anyway, cut a long story short, the joint. Okay? But me mate quit. And yet, he would have been sitting on top of a fantastic part of our business now. Anyway, it was 2 years in before Derek and Maria Longright came into a business. It was 3 years in before Dawn and Bruce came in. It was 5.5 years before Jane and Philippa came in. And 6 years before Lee and Tricia came in, and they've just won the Harry Crook Trophy. Now, those are all the people in our front line that represent bronze execs, minimum or above, okay? So you could say, I suppose, that those are the people that have really spearheaded the growth within our organisation. But look at the time span that it's taken us to find them. So whilst you might see us at the front of the room, shirt and tie, nice, looking good, and all that, sort of, okay? The thing is, right, we're still out there, putting the cards and flyers out and the shop adverts out and doing the 3-foot rules and all that, like, you know, run the run, doing it all, when yous are thinking about doing it. So even though, you know, you think, well, they must be doing something different now, their role must be very different now, we're still out there doing the nitty-gritty little itty-bitty stuff that builds the business. So you've got to do that as well. Okay, now, why did our business build? Because we kept on keeping on. Okay, and this is a key thing. You've got to learn how to go from one little frustration, okay, and a little bit of loss of enthusiasm, to the next one. Okay, it's that important. okay? Go from one frustration to the next frustration because you know that it's the price that you pay to have the life that you want, which is just waiting there for you. Of course, the alternative is to continue to struggle by year after year, hardly making ends meet, enduring life as opposed to enjoying it, just watching other people's success. Flipping heck. Who would want to be sat in a room like this 5 years down the line, having made any progress, and see some of the people who are sat in there now at the front of the room saying, oh, I'm earning $5,000 a month now, $6,000 a month, and you're thinking, God, I've got to start all over again. I haven't flipping done anything, I'm not even 10%, I haven't even renewed my catalogues. You think because you've gone off track and you haven't done the things. There's a very important expression, the price of regret is weighed in tons. The price of discipline is weighed in ounces. Just doing the little things every day. Little things, oh God, I've got to do it, I've got to do it. I've got to do it. My life depends on it. Doesn't feel like it, but it does. And you've just got to keep going. Okay, it's dead important. Now I saw Stevie Roper do this at the conference and I flipping loved it, me. I absolutely loved it. Can we just do it? Right, do that. The secret of success. Give it that. Okay, V for victory. Give it that. Right, watch. Just copy me, right? Get. Oh, well then. Get. More leads. Get! Hang on. It's my fault. That's my fault, that right. Right, with me, get more leads, 3 claps. Get more leads! Get more leads! Get more leads! Get more leads! Go to more bus stops! Go to more bus stops! Right, that'll do. Thanks, everybody. That's all it is. Because obviously we kept going to those bus stops, and we kept coming across new people. Some people who suddenly thought, wow, as opposed to the magicians and all that. We found some real people who wanted to do it, okay, and that's all we've ever done. So consistent effort, doing all the little things, plus time, because time does have to pass, okay, equals success. Right, quick question. Anybody in the room ever been on a weight loss program? Oh, just a few of you. How many people's not telling the truth? Right, okay. How many people have found that it hasn't quite worked for them? Oh, really? Really? Anybody in the room ever thought, oh, I fancy learning a new language? Did you conquer it? Most of yous? Strange. Okay. Anybody ever started off learning to drive? Anyone started driving lessons? Right. Anybody passed that test? See, there was more people passed that test. And I'll tell you for why. Because there is an immediate benefit at the end of being able to pass your driving test. Okay, you can open up, you can get no more jobs, you can get around, you can go for nice drives out in the country, you can get yourself a flipping Citroen Saxo with a big ball exhaust on it when you're a young kid, and terrorise all the old people in the neighbourhood, thinking it's thundering and lightning, sparks coming out the exhaust and everything. Seriously, it's because of the benefit. You see, you attach a benefit to it. I wanted to learn a new language, but you know what? It was only because it would have been nice, okay? And I started trying to lose weight because it would have been nice to get into a smaller waist size. But it wasn't imperative, you understand. But it was absolutely essential that I passed my driving test. You see, so it was more of a concise and a sincere goal. Because firstly, I went out there, okay, and I booked some driving lessons. Real practical first step, booked a driving lesson. Then I went out there, and I made sure that on a certain day at the time I had my driving test booked in. So there was some real dates set. So I knew approximately how long it was going to be before I could pass my driving test. Far more goal-orientated and goal-specific, time-specific, than just thinking, oh, it'd be nice to stick a DVD on in the car and learn how to speak French or something like that. Okay, anyway, in 2001, okay, we were goal distributors, okay? And the turnover was 9,000 for the team. Okay, and our income was £1,300 a month. Now that had replaced a full-time income, but some of that was going back in reinvestment, okay, because we knew we needed to reinvest a little bit of that back into it. So we weren't just thinking, oh, champion, 1,300 quid, yes. So really it was a bit less than what we were really earning bottom line after a little bit of reinvestment, okay. But 6 years on from that point, okay, the best team turnover is £285,000 in 28 days, and I just find that absolutely staggering. And our best income is now touched £9,000 in a 4-week period. Now what you've got to remember, guys, okay, is that you can either take control of your life, or you can just lose control. Because that's what it comes down to at the end of the day. It's a very straightforward question. You either take control or you lose control. Now, when you get a cheque like that, okay, that is a far cry from living in the council house and driving around in an F-Reg Escort, okay, and buying the kids' clothes from car boot sales and cheap shops for food and being frightened to answer the telephone and not opening the brown letters. Okay, guys, that is a far cry away from that. But my reason why, and understanding that we must keep on keeping on, okay, it's imperative if you've got to push through the rain to get to the rainbow, okay? Now, that's the way our lives were. That was the house we were living in. It wasn't exactly palatial, okay? There was the Escort car, there was being taken to court for 28 quid because I couldn't afford to pay the telephone bill. Okay, so that was the life. So, you know, when you see that, don't suddenly start to go funny on us. It's not, it's alright for him. It wasn't alright for us. It was just as difficult as it is for you. Maybe it's even more so in some cases, okay? And that's what it was. And that's what we changed it to. And you can do exactly the same. Now, from rags to riches, that was an article in the Woman magazine, okay? Do you think I ever thought that I would become a bloody I would become a centrefold? I know people who've got that pinned on their walls. I'm a pin-up. Now, it might be in my own house, granted, but I'm still a centrefold and I'm still a pin-up. All right? And, you know, that was us being given a £25,000 BMW off the company. That was us being given our most prestigious award to date, which was the Distributor of the Year. And that was one of my goals for many, many, many years. Okay, and I really wanted to truly make that a reality. And do you know what, guys? It wasn't just for me. It was because I had something to prove, and I wanted to prove to my mum and dad that I could be considered to be the best. Because there was a time when my mum and dad looked at me, and I wondered if they thought that their son was just a loser, but they loved us anyway. Okay? So I had something to prove. That's our Dreamsville. So just remember, that was the house when we started Clean Easy, and that is the house now that we're living in because of Clean Easy. So it's a big shift, and let me tell you, that's only Dreamsville 1. We've already got Dreamsville 2 planned. Okay? So don't just watch our success, carve out your own success. Okay? There's the plaque outside, Dreamsville. Me mum and dad think I'm a stupid. Me neighbours think I'm a bit crazy. Dreamsville, what's all about? And I thought, well, I didn't flippin' care what yous all thought then, so I'm certainly not going to care now. Okay? Because I only listen to people that I like to listen to, that I think is good, positive stuff. And if it involves, like, what you do, not for you, not a jack, don't want to listen. Okay? Dreamsville. What I'm thinking about doing is getting a nice little light at the bottom there to shine up on the night time, just to make it a bit more prominent, okay? So guys, make sure your bus arrives to Dreamsville. Remember, it takes a while to get yourself into the mess that you're in right now, okay? So, you know, don't expect to get out of that mess in a few months. It might have took you 20, 30 years to get to where you are now, when you think, well, if Clean Easy hasn't got that sorted by the end of the flipping week, I'm quitting. How many times do we hear that? But people do think that. And remember, if you're doing Clean Easy very, very much part-time, you know, you might be doing it part-time for a year, but in reality, you've only probably put in about 12 weeks worth of full-time effort. You know, so you've either got to accept it's going to take you longer or realise you need to do an awful lot more. But the bottom line is, guys, don't expect to get out of that mess straight away. Clean Easy is magical. Your personal baggage is the problem. Okay, your work ethic is the problem. Okay, your ability to be consistent and persistent and dedicated and focused is the problem. Clean Easy works. I remember Jim Rohn turned around and saying to some people in the room, he turned around and says, how much do you earn in Clean Easy? It wasn't Clean Easy, like, you know. How much do you earn? And somebody said, like, not very much. He says, well, how much is that? About £400. He went, oh, that isn't very much, is it? He says, no, not at all. He says, but is the people in the same company earning a lot more than that? He says, oh, aye. He says, all right. And so it's not that they don't pay the money, it's just that that's all they pay you. He says, that's right. Ah, right. I would change that plan. And that is so true. Little bit of philosophy there from Jim Rohn. I read the books. Okay. So guys, 4 to 5 years for you, or 45 years for a boss. That just means from leaving school to retirement age, 45 years, or getting stuck in 4 to 5 years. You say, I know it's a big decision, isn't it? 4 to 5 years, or, you know, 45 years and giving me youth and the best of every day to a boss. God, it's a big, difficult decision, that is. How way, man. Crikey Moses, wake up. Wake up, 4 to 5 years. We got up the level of SED in 3.5 years, and our income was £5,000 a month, and we knew nothing about this business. We just went out there, and what we lacked in skill, we made up for in ability. Wrong way round. What we lacked in skill. You know what I mean, okay? We didn't know what we're doing, so we just worked harder, okay? So, and that's the secret to success, and I've said it so many times, as DNA TDS, and it just stands for desire, not ability, that determines success. Desire. How much do you really want it? Do you know, I was talking to Mel at the back of the room. I'm nearly finished, by the way, in case you're thinking, look at the flipping time, flipping EastEnders, I'll miss it. I'll be straight back home and getting on the flipping phone for about 3 hours, me. I'll have 3 team members signed in by flipping 9 o'clock. What you will have done. Okay, I was talking to Mel at the back. And we know when Irene was having the problem with that mic. It was like, shh, did you hear that noise? Shh, it was going like that, wasn't it? And anyway, it was like, but it was a bit intermittent, wasn't it? It wasn't quite bad enough for her to rush up and change the mic at first. We're like, shall we, shan't we, shall we, shan't we? Then it seemed to go away for a little bit. We thought, we'll just leave it. Wasn't quite bad enough to do something about it. Then it got bad, then we changed it. But the point is, that's what our lives are like. Sometimes we say, oh God, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. But like, it's not that bad that you couldn't like, you know, put up with it for a little bit longer. And that's the thing, man. We accept it. Don't accept it. Say no. Okay, everyone? Say no. Go out there and just change your life. Okay? Now, it says that everybody wants the secret of success and clean easy, but what would success mean to you? Okay? Now, I've just got a few things. Obviously, nice big income, £8,000 plus. It could be fulfilling a lifetime's dream ambition. I've always wanted to go up in a helicopter. Okay, went up there, fantastic. But I didn't just do it anyway. It was over the statue of the Christ the Redeemer in Rio de Janeiro. So if you're going to do it, in style, eh? Okay? So that was amazing. There's us having a family holiday when most people are out there putting their catalogues out. Okay? All right, just having a winter holiday. Okay? It might be just spending more time with the lads. That's all my sons there. Okay? It might be, having nice cars. I mean, winning nice cars. Okay? Or, as I say, been given them, It may be that it's, I remember when I couldn't afford to even give me kids anything for their birthday, But now it's like, right, we'll go and go-karting. It's like, wow, it's great. And I tell you what about go-karting. Tell you when you're competitive, you can't help yourself. Do you know, when I'm on that track, I didn't care if my sons get in my way. It's get out of your way or I'll knock you off the track. And do you know what? I didn't really want to do that, I can't help myself. You just get behind that wheel, didn't you? And it's like to hell. It's like, but when the hat guns on, it's like, right. Isn't it? I don't even care if you're bloodline or what. I'm going to win if you're getting me way. Anyway, but we take the kids to things like that in paintballing, okay, which is great. Okay, it might be your success is to have loads of people in your team at a conference, which is magical. It might be to win a major award. It might be, as I say, to retire early. That's what that picture represents, and spend time abroad in villas and things. Being with friends and building a team locally and having barbecues and getting everybody together. Cutting up your credit cards, that was a major day for us. Just to get them all out, just the blue ones, like Rob Foster, there's the blue ones and the awful colour ones. We kept the silver ones and the black ones, okay? But the ones with like £250 limit on, just cut them up, like that. Almost like that, okay? Cut them up, it was great, okay? Or, as I say, they're sitting on the front of a catamaran in the Indian Ocean when we're in Mauritius, just amazing, life-changing stuff. But what are you prepared? If you're prepared to take what Clean Easy can give you, what are you prepared to give to get it? Okay? That's an important thing for me, okay? I've nearly lost my dad like last year. Well, I have been losing him for many years, actually, because the reality is he's been very, very ill. And one of the things we never, ever did was the father-son fishing. And do you know what? The crazy thing about it is none of us knew how to fish, but we always thought we should have went fishing, and we never did. So my dad was really ill, and this is the point I made earlier about why do we always leave it till it's almost too late to do something that's important for us. Okay? And that was me and my dad down at South Shields literally a few months ago. Okay, just before the weather started to turn a little bit there. Down at South Shields, we both went out and bought with fishing rods, stuck with reels on, this, that, and to that, bought all the live bait and everything. And it was like, we looked at each other to say, flipping heck, Dad, we've been meaning to do this since I was 14. And do you know what? We went there and my dad couldn't get his reel on properly, couldn't see the end to tie the flipping reel on, so we thought, well, we'll leave yours, we'll just do mine. We got mine ready, and was like, this is it, Dad, isn't it? We're making history. Me and you, Dad. And do you know what? We went like that and hid it in the water, and it got tangled, and it never even hit the water. It's dangling. It was dangling above the water, and could we hell get the knot out? So anyway, it was getting a bit cold, so we just went back home. So but we haven't even done it yet. I can't believe it, But that was a crisis thing. Not getting it in the water was pretty bad, but that was because I thought I was going to lose my dad. You know, I'm not going to have him for very long, and I know that. Clean Easy gives us the flexibility now to spend as much time as I want with him, but the point is, don't leave these things till too late, guys, okay? There's one of my sons there, that's our Alexander. Do you know what? He reads all the books. He comes in, read The Secret, you know, read all sorts of different books. Attitude is everything, the lot. He comes in, he says to me, Dad, he says, do you know what? He walks in the door. Oh, Dad, he says, this book's flipping brilliant. He says, do you know what? He says, what you think about, you bring about, you know, Dad. I says, I know, son. He says, it's great. He says, I got off the bus, and he says, and I just come in the door. He says, I was thinking when I got to him, you know, that my tea will be on the table. When I get in, it'll be bangers and mash. He says, I can't believe it. It's bangers and mash, and it's ready. He says, this is great. And you know, because he has a 2-hour bus drive on a night time coming home, okay, because he's at a school, he's quite intelligent. And basically, you know, and every couple of weeks he has a new book to read, okay. And it's just amazing. But that was him going to Newcastle Airport, okay, to China, okay. You know, off he goes to China, paid for, all the money in his pocket, everything, the whole kit and caboodle. Nice to be able to do things like that. Like I say, we couldn't even afford to go to the flipping Saltwell Park and Gateshead, let alone to send my son to China. So, if I was to show you what you need to do step by step, I wonder if you'd really do it. It's been said before, all the how-tos in the world, you know, it's not going to make any difference. I could sit down on a one-on-one and show you every single thing we've done to build a business. But you know what? If you didn't really want to do it and the desire's not strong enough, you still won't do it. So you've got to find that bit first, okay? Persistence. There's no giant steps. It's just lots of little steps, okay? And the thing is there that even unsuccessful people will do some of the things that the successful people at the back do, but the unsuccessful will only do them sometimes. Whereas the successful people do them all the time because they know that that is the bridge between where they are and where they want to be. So that's the agreement form. We signed it just like you, okay? When I joined Clean Easy, I was a depleted man. I was a bankrupt. I'd got jobs with people. I'd lost me jobs. I had no pride. I was a little mouse by comparison. The man you see today is someone that's grown into this because of the Clean Easy business and how it's changed and got our life back on track. Okay, so I wasn't the man I am today then. I've grown, okay, guys? Not very much, of course. But we've all got the same set of tools. Each and every one of us. But you know what, guys? It's how you use them and how often you use them. And it says there, you know, remember, Clean Easy can't change your past. But one thing it can surely do is if you treat it seriously, you know, it can definitely change your future. And what you've got to ask yourself is your life worth the effort? Let's just say that one more time. Is your life worth the effort? Absolutely.